Hey all. Hello beautiful people, friends. It is Kathryn and I'm. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. I need to change my lighting situation in my office. I'm playing with the feng shui. Hi, those of you who don't know me, my name is Kathryn and I'm. I am an elevated consciousness coach. I'm a 5D visionary and a conscious creatrix, a time bender. And if you have been paying attention to the things that I have been talking about over the last couple months, you know that I've been talking quite a great deal about bending time, about reshaping the fabric of your life by learning to play with time outside of the 3D matrix of time, where we kind of reweave, reshape, redefine time and space when we learn how to do that. And yes, that technology, that ability, that capability is available to us now, and that is what I'm teaching in my Timelines Expanded Masterclass. And the window of opportunity for signing up for that class is, closing kind of fast. Not to sign up in general, but to sign up with the early bird pricing. Hi, Svetlana, because you can save $200 by signing up by the 23rd of November. What month are we in? And it goes up to $497, which is still an incredible value for this 8-module program that's going to start the next live round mid-January, and I'll be officially announcing that on the 23rd of this month. But this is truly a one-of-a-kind masterclass that no one else is teaching. You are learning how to get out from behind the veiled and limited perception of 3D, where we have a very finite and rigid construct or sphere of reality. Hi, Christelle. Hi, Aga. Of understanding who we are in terms of how we hold the definition of ourselves in space and time. And this is something we're exploring right now. In the Facebook community, we still have kind of a lively community, even though people are just accessing the classes from the next live round. There's still quite a bit of lively discussion, a lot of epiphanies, a lot of people reaching out to me about what they're experiencing from the ability to play with time in a real and tangible way. The way I teach, it's not just conceptual, it's not just me talking at you, it is practically applicable to your everyday life so that you can understand and reap the benefits in your day-to-day reality. This is how I teach. Because otherwise, what good is a tool? What good is a technology if it's not serving us and providing tangible benefits in our everyday reality? So this is the Timelines Expanded Masterclass. There's 5 modules now that you can study, but the next live version, which will start mid-January-ish 2020, will have 8 modules, and it will go way deep down in the rabbit hole. And I'm going to put here some information about this class right here in the comments, and I will also put in a link to join. So it's $297 if you join right now, but if you wait until after the 23rd of November, it will be $497, which is still an incredible value. So there's more information there, and I'll have the link for you guys as well to check out the first module of the pre-existing round for free. So you can see what we're talking about. But I want to share with you today some time hacking. This brings manifesting to a whole new kind of echelon. This is time hacking. This is time merging. This is taking your creations and inserting them into a pre-existing timeline, or what we experience as a pre-existing timeline, because our only experience of time really is being present with the flow of it, okay? And in order to be present with the flow of time, to have this experience of time is moving, let's just say in a linear fashion on a continuum, which is really just an illusion. It's more of a cognitive construct that we've agreed to in our bodies. But it really is this presence that we can be aware of, or kind of trick ourselves into believing that we are aware of the presence of the flow of time, in terms of how we are anchored into it. And humans create time in 3D. So in other words, through, let's just say, our emotional reaction to time, okay? We mold and shape the fabric of our reality through what we experience as the passing of time. This is just a cognitive construct that we agree with in our bodies. And what makes the passing of time fluid is the emotional imprint it creates through a memory or some other identifying factor. And that creates an anchor for us. And then we say, this is time, because this happened to me a moment ago, or I feel this emotion that's continuing to flow into each subsequent moment. So we experience the flow of time through something that anchors it for us so we can have the presence of it. That is our emotions, okay? And what makes the passing of time fluid is the emotional imprint that it creates through a memory, some other identifying factor. And we ride the wave of these imprints, often without questioning or interrupting this pattern, until we've developed a personal reality or an identity around it, okay? So there's some driving force of who we are created through an emotional imprint, and that also gives us this feeling of occupying space and time, okay? I exist because I have something to reference to, okay? So whenever we experience, for instance, elevated emotions, it creates a punctuation, or you could even say a perforation, in the flow of time, or what we experience is the flow of time. So to experience the flow of time, we need an anchor, okay? So in other words, our human emotions anchor time, so we can say we are experiencing the presence of it, okay? Because who are we in time and space unless we have some reference, right? But what if we were to stop the flow of time by removing the anchor? What if we stop the flow of emotion and anchor time in a different now moment, and then essentially take the energy with which we are funding this now moment, let's just say that we don't prefer to experience. What if we fund our mental and emotional energy from that into a different version of who we are, just by turning our attention, our focus, to a different now moment that is more preferable, more desirable for us, okay? When you do this, you are bending time. When you stop or bend time in this way and take it even a bit further by consciously evaluating and reverse engineering what got you to this version of the now that maybe you don't really desire or don't really prefer, and you became present with reality in a different timeline that is preferred, you are quantum jumping time then. What if you were to go even further and collapse the flow of time that is taking you in the undesired direction and timeline of a potential reality? You are timeline healing. All of these things are being talked about and discussed and practiced in Timelines Expanded, okay? There is nothing else, and I say this without cockiness, without arrogance, there's nothing else like this out there. No one else is teaching it in this way, okay? In a very hands-on, practical, tangible, applicable way. It's not just conceptual. You're learning how to bend and stretch and fold and merge and collapse and jump and opt out of false timelines. You're going to learn about culminating timelines. You're going to learn about, especially what I'm talking about today, which is time hacking, okay? So when I share this tool with you, you're probably going to get mad at me because it's so simple. And I'm okay with that. But it's one of those things that it's so simple and it makes so much sense that when you start doing it and you kind of establish a new normal for yourself around it, you're going to be like, why is no one teaching this? Why hasn't this been here forever? Well, the thing is, it has. But now we have collectively, as the human family, stretched our consciousness so far that we can get this stuff in a way that we like, oh, okay, now I see, now I get it. And you don't really truly understand the word empowerment until you get that you can exercise your autonomy of choice in this way, in terms of inserting your creations into what you are experiencing of, and what you are having the experience of is a pre-existing timeline. And just inserting it, which I'm going to show you and tell you how to do this in just a minute, in such a way that it's just to you, and the way you kind of trick your cognitive construct of the mind and how it frames and shapes time, you are tricking the mental body and then the physical body to believe that this timeline exists. And then you are creating, let's just say, taking your creations and inserting them, merging into a timeline that you experience as having already happened. And you create a whole new timeline for yourself this way. This is just one of the ways that you get out from behind the veiled and limited perception of living in 3D reality, where we think of our focus, our sphere of reference, our scope of reference is so confined, it's very rigid here in terms of just how we collectively agree on the construct of time. But in fact, when you're working with the 5D rules of engagement of time, it's a lot more flexible, it's a lot more tangible, it's a lot more alchemical, it's a lot more plastic to be able to work with time in this way. And with this autonomy of choice that you have to create different timelines for yourself, you're reshaping time and space, and you are learning how to invest your energy consciously into desired timelines for your highest good, but for the highest good of all, because that's what's in alignment with 5D consciousness, okay? This class is the class that you didn't know you needed. And why didn't you know you needed it? Because how would you know you need something if there's nothing else out there like it? Quite simply. And again, I say this without arrogance. I say it without ego. I looked for this myself because I'm completely fascinated and exhilarated and excited and delighted by working with time and timelines. And now that I've gone like way down the rabbit hole with this stuff, I am cycling through things in my life very, very quickly. Not in an unnatural way, however. Because in this accelerated timeline that we all find ourselves in the ascension grid, the true ascension grid, and you'll learn about the false ascension and the true ascension grids in this class, we are meant to cycle through things very quickly now. Because many of us are in a culminating timeline where we are wrapping up our entire history of 3D reality, all those lifetimes, in this lifetime right now. So this is an incredibly empowering thing. You don't really understand the word empowerment until you start reshaping the fabric of space and time in this way, to your desire, to your preferable reality, okay? So I'll talk about who Timelines Expanded Masterclass is for in just a minute, but first, I want to teach you how to insert your creations into what you're experiencing as, let's just say, a pre-existing timeline, okay? So think about your day so far, okay? Right now it's 1:43 here in South Lake Tahoe, California. So for some of you on the East Coast, it's 3 hours later. Some of you in England, it's 8 hours later or 9 hours later, I forget. Some of you are watching from Russia and it's maybe 12 or 13 hours later. So think about the timeline of your day, your daylight hours spent in this day that is leading you up to your now, okay? From the time you got up in the morning. And just think about the timeline of things that happened. Think about you got up, you did a little stretch, maybe you did your morning yoga, your morning meditation, you put the coffee pot on, you let the dog out. All of these things that kind of make up what most of us would say are the mundane aspects of our day. And it's your normal. It's 1 a.m., yes. And I love you for being up this late, Svetlana, to watch me. I love you. Hi, Sheila. So think about how you feel about just that normal trajectory of your day. And maybe it's like many other days that you experience, okay? It's just your normal, okay? Now I want you to take what you think you would like to create at this time. Maybe you're working on actively manifesting something. Maybe you are thinking about, some money that you would like to have come in. Or maybe you're thinking about that car you want to buy. And the opportunity presenting itself for that. Maybe you're waiting on hearing about a house that you put in on a bid for. Maybe you're waiting for the right contractor to call you back saying, yes, I will redesign your kitchen for you. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be something that's very small. It could be something that's kind of big. You decide, you play. But the more you play with this, it's kind of fun to start with smaller things and then kind of build up to something bigger. Because there is a trust factor involved here where your subconscious oftentimes, and I'm going to talk about this, when we are trying to manifest really big things that don't feel like our normal, we tend to have an inner sabotage mechanism for that in our subconscious, because our subconscious says, well, we've never had that before, never had that experience before. I wouldn't even know, like, if I'm pretending to know what it feels like or what it would look like to have this, the subconscious is saying, yeah, that doesn't exist. We can't do that. That's not part of our normal. That's not part of our everyday fabric of reality. So we have this kind of inner sabotage mechanism built in from the subconscious because the subconscious reacts to what is known, okay? So when you are trying to manifest something that's really big, let's just say you've only been that kind of person who's manifested, let's just say at the most, maybe you have a healing business like I do, and maybe you're trying to manifest $20,000 this month, but the most you've ever manifested in a month was 4. That's a big jump. And your subconscious is going to find ways to kind of sabotage that a little bit, maybe a lot, depending. So we're always working with this inner mechanism of the subconscious, and it's really only part of kind of an ego-driven survival consciousness that if something makes us feel unsafe, we will tend to pull back our energy to that which feels known, and we'll confine our energy to funding or investing things in things that feel known or comfortable or familiar, okay? This is just kind of a mechanism that we all have it in one way, shape, or another. Sometimes this mechanism sabotages us. Sometimes we can learn to work with it. This is one of the ways you learn to work with it, okay? So for the sake of what we're doing here today, think of something that you would just really like to show up in your life right now. That it's just kind of this natural progression based on where you're at, based on what you're asking for, maybe even based on where you've been. Something that feels like the next natural gradient or the next natural progression up from where you are, the next elevated station from where you are, okay? So I do this to manifest sales in my business a lot, and I've been using it a lot lately because number one, it works. Number two, it's really, really fun to play with your creations in this way. So get an idea of that thing that you would like to have manifest, that you would like to have show up in your physical reality right now. Now go back to your timeline for today and think about maybe it's a time between where you brushed your teeth and took the dog for a walk. Or maybe it's a time where you had your bagel and cream cheese and had to call your sister on the phone. Pick something that's just like, this is just part of my normal Saturday, part of my normal day, whatever. And I want you to take this thing that you are asking to manifest. And I want you to just imagine yourself inserting it into this timeline in between, let's just say for the sake of argument, 2 mundane events. 2 things that just feel like you're normal. It just feels like, meh, it's like a pass the salt kind of feeling. It's just matter of fact, this is just stuff that you do in your day. Part of the reason why we manifest so many of our creations is because it feels so big to us that it is not our normal. But let me ask you this. Let's just say you surprise yourself sometimes and you put a creation, you launch a rocket of desire, as Abraham Hicks would say, and launch your desire out into the universe, the creation you would like to have made manifest in the physical plane, and it happens. And you're like, wow, this is so awesome. And then it kind of dies down, doesn't it? Because it came to pass and it happened. And we're grateful. It's not that we don't appreciate it, but then we're just on to kind of the next best thing, aren't we? We're looking towards the next manifestation. If anything, it gives us excitement and the momentum to launch that next rocket of desire, but to move past that manifestation that we created that felt at one time so big, so colossal. Like everything will just come together if this one thing happens, but then it does, and it's just kind of like, okay, been there, done that. Became part of your normal, didn't it? So what if you looked at this thing and said, yeah, I manifested that today. In between brushing my teeth and letting the dog out, that happened today. How would you feel about it if it had already come to pass? Maybe you're still in that place of gratitude and appreciation, but you're just looking back on it as that kind of timeline. Like that happened in between me eating my bagel with cream cheese and calling my mom or calling my sister or taking the kids to, get some new school clothes or going grocery shopping. Because Saturdays, that's the day I go grocery shopping. It could be just as easy for you to say, Saturdays are the days where I manifest $500 on the fly. I want you to get away from the idea that this is outlandish. And the way you do that is you kind of insert this into your timeline as something that has already come to pass. How would that feel if it's just there? And you're thinking, okay, well, I manifested the $500, so it's in my bank account. Now I'm on to the next thing. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to spend that? How can I use this manifestation for my good and the highest good of all? That's always a great way to anchor in gratitude and allow this to expand. Hello, everyone who's watching. But just make it kind of follow that normal trajectory. So a lot of our manifestations, like I said, can feel so big sometimes that we'll thwart it, we'll sabotage it, we'll make it seem like it's so big it can't possibly be for us. We're not worthy of that. We don't deserve that. Look at all the things that we've done wrong. Look at all the things I'm not forgiving myself for. And we come up with all these wonderful ways to sabotage our forward growth and expansion. And we make these things, we put these things on a pedestal. But what if you took that desire, that creation, and took it off the pedestal and just put it in your timeline where it already existed, where it already came to pass, it already happened, it already flowed into your physical reality. And you just kind of feel like, yeah, brushed my teeth, made $500, took the dog out, took the kids shopping, went to watch the kids play soccer with my husband. It doesn't matter what it is, but bringing it into that kind of flow, that continuum, where we kind of mark that passing of time through our emotional experiences. Maybe the thing is we need to make it not so big and put it on a pedestal. But maybe the key is bringing it down so it just feels like part of our normal. So normal that it already happened. It already came to pass. It's already part of who we are. It's already leading us to that next stage of our expansion, that next elevated station of our growth. Do you guys get what I'm saying here? Okay? So this turns the kind of traditional look at manifesting and the law of attraction on its head a little bit. Because you're not making it this big thing that you're putting on a pedestal where you have to feel so big into it to match that energy. In fact, you're asking this thing to come down to where your energy is. And it's not in a way where you are dumbing down your energy or making it less intense or potent. You're just making it who you are. So you don't have to make that stretch of, I have to be a completely different person to have this thing. Why don't you take this thing you're putting on a pedestal and bring it down to the person you are right now? Do you guys get the difference here? I will just tell you that this is just something I've been playing with a lot and seeing really tangible and very quick results in manifesting in this way. So this is just one way we're going to take a look at manifesting. We're going to take a look at bending time, hacking time, merging time, folding time, collapsing time, exploring false timelines that we need to opt out of. Opting out of false timelines is really important, especially when you're talking about manifesting, because if we have, let's just say, a lot of different timelines where we're exploring, like I talked about in the beginning here, a lot of different timelines we're exploring where we are not receiving our preferences, where we are not moving towards our desires, by exploring the polarity of different things that could happen, things that can go wrong. And we're really good at exploring the polarity of all the things that can go wrong when we are trying to manifest something, right? I used to be really good at that, okay, until I started working deeply with timelines. So think about all of that energy that you are funding and you are investing into timelines where you are exploring that polarity, that duality of the undesired outcome. What if you stopped siphoning off all that energy in that way and started siphoning it towards the one thing you are dedicated and committing to having manifest in your physical reality now? How much more potent and powerful would your energy be? This is another thing that we are heavily exploring in Timelines Expanded. So the Timelines Expanded Masterclass, this is ideal for you if you feel you are at a major pivot point of going deeper into your awakening process, but you feel uninspired and you don't have any idea what to do next or where to go next or what to sign up for next or who to talk to next or what kind of healing to get next. This is for you. It's also for you if you feel like you've hit a wall creatively and your imagination is limited to just creating redux versions, like just a redone version of what has already come to pass, of what has been before, instead of innovating something completely new in your life or for the life of your clients. Okay? This is for you if you can't escape memories of your past. If you are unable to escape the memories of your past self and you find it difficult to move forward, always second guessing possible outcomes, always exploring the polarity, as I just mentioned a moment ago, about the things that can go wrong instead of the things that go right. If you are someone who feels very anchored in poverty consciousness, this is a false timeline. And we need to learn how to opt out of these false timelines. Many of us are exploring timelines of poverty consciousness, of lack consciousness. This is a construct that's part of the false ascension matrix. It involves a lot of karma, and we can say no more karma. We need to learn how to opt out of that. That's also what I'm sharing in the program. This is for you if you feel that you identify as a way shower, a thought leader, or energy healer who is feeling a profound call to action, a call to arms, if you will, to help not only heal yourself, to move through very quickly to healing yourself at the deepest core level. And when we work with timelines, you go through healing timelines very, very quickly. It's very rapid. And don't worry, you get a lot of support and guidance as you move through that energy very quickly. But this is for you if you feel like you're a way shower, you identify as a way shower, a thought leader, an energy healer who is feeling a profound call to action to heal yourself at the deepest core level, and so that you can do the work that you are here to do, to heal the planet without distraction, without distortion in your energy, to really be a higher frequency holder in that way, so you can help lead humanity into the next level and wave of ascension with more grace and more ease. So this window of opportunity to sign up at the price of $297 is going away very quickly. It goes away next Saturday. I was going to do it until the end of November, but if you feel called to this, I want you to act quickly. Because when you act quickly, it's like saying yes to your progression. It's like saying yes to your next level of awakening. It's saying yes to you. So I'm giving you an opportunity to do that, because the window of opportunity for getting this for $297, which is $200 off the price of $497, that window of opportunity is closing fast. It closes next Saturday. So jump on this offer now. It goes up to $497, which is still an incredible deal on the 24th of this month. The next live round starts mid-January. I'm coming out with the official date on the 23rd of this month to announce that next live round of this class. When we start the next live class, this will be a large group of people in January, mid-January of 2020. The momentum of the group energetic that's already in place with the people who are just in the self-study version of this course and are in the Facebook community that I have established around this momentum of the group energetic is going to build so much as we all come together and do this work live. We're going to be bringing in a lot of serendipity, a lot of opportunities for growth, a lot of synchronicities. There's going to be a lot of healing, a lot of cleansing, a lot of releasing, but a lot of upgrading, and it's all going to happen very, very quickly. And when we do this together as a group, not only are we obviously changing on an individual level and informing the collective of the group in the program, but we are also informing the human family collective at the same time. Because anytime we download a new way of being to the collective, this gets disseminated like a chain reaction of feeling, of knowing throughout the human collective. This is very important. But it also completely blows your perception of what's possible. Wide open. Everything shifts. Everything changes when you start working with timelines and start doing timeline healing. Timeline healing is the 5D energy healing of the new earth. Why not start learning it now? Let's get our feet wet now. So I'm going to put the link also below to join up now. If you're interested and you want to check out the Module 1 for free, do it quickly, because your opportunity to get $200 off goes away next Saturday. But you can check out Module 1, the intro module of the last round of Timelines Expanded, for free. So I'll put that link down here. But I hope you guys will play with this. As I'm saying throughout promoting this program, don't take my word for any of this stuff. Use the practices that I give you and see for yourself. I don't want you to take my word for any of this stuff. I don't, actually. That's why I give you guys the practices. That's why I give you guys a very hands-on approach to using this material, so that you have first-hand experience of how it works. I can tell you all day and talk at you all day and discuss timelines and time all day, and it will all just be academic until you have some sort of experiential, tangible knowing of what's going on and how it benefits you in the now. Otherwise, it's just me talking at you. So use this tool. Check out some of the things in Module 1 where I talk about how to opt out of the 3D time matrix, which is kind of keeping us all in the hive mind of mass consciousness and keeping us in a very limited sphere of reality about what is possible. So I want to wish you all so much love and peace.